Shalom. I'd like to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushai, Ba'ashem Kwadash. I'd like to give double honors to the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone who rule well. Peace, salutation, and blessings to the elect who firmly believe in Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushai. Now, the title of this lesson is going to be, Through Much Tribulation Shall We Enter into the Kingdom. Through much tribulation shall we enter into the kingdom. And I feel like that's important, for brothers to know, and of course the few sisters who believe, but more importantly the brotherhood, because it's all about mental preparation. It's all about mental preparation. You never want to get blindsided, because the punches you don't see is what knocks you out. You never want to underestimate, what you may have to go through, because that's going to prevent you from preparing to your fullest potential. You know what I'm saying? When it comes to this truth, it's important to know before we go, because it generates a mental fortitude to where you can say to yourself, like, yeah, this ain't for me, or yeah, this is for me, and I'm willing to do what it takes to acquire it, right? That's why it's like, let me just start with one of my favorite scriptures in the book of Romans, the 8th chapter. Let me start at the 16th verse. And it reads, "The Spirit itself beareth witness with our spirit that we are the children of the Most High Yahweh. And if children, then heirs, heirs of Yahweh, and joint heirs with Yahushai. If so be that we suffer with him, that we may be also glorified together." Right? So we going through the process now where we got to suffer with Yahushai. We have to suffer our people. We have to suffer our conditions. We have to suffer through our tribulations. And in the kingdom we'll be glorified. Right? Verse 18 is the point. "For I reckon that the sufferings of this present time are not worthy to be compared with the glory which shall be revealed in us." So this is something that we got to keep in mind. This is something that we got to, act upon when the goings get tough. No matter what, we got to have it in our mind, no matter what we're going through, what Yahweh Shai is about to bless us with, it don't compare to what we're going through. You know what I'm saying? Because there's going to be moments where we don't eat maybe for a couple of days. You know what I'm saying? Where we may have to be out there in the elements through rainy conditions, and it could be snowing conditions. You never know. You never know. You know what I'm saying? Or you may be in a concentration camp, to the point to where you're in the guillotine, you get your head chopped off, or you in a guillotine and you break free. But going through those experiences, we got to know and understand that the Lord is about to lace us with something that can't compare with what we're going through in that moment. So it's a matter of holding the line. It's just a reminder to hold the line. Yahweh Shai didn't want to go through what he had to go through to obtain what he has. So we're going to feel those emotions as well. Acts 14:22, "Confirming the souls of the disciples and exhorting them to continue in the faith, and that we must through much tribulation enter into the kingdom of Yahweh." You got guys that got egos, you know what I'm saying, with that's within this truth. Egos, man. Ego tripping, whether they admitting to it or not. Whether they admitting to it or not. Everybody see through, so you can't act like you ain't see through. If a brother don't see it, guess who do see it? The Heavenly Father. The angels. And they got their eye on you. You know what I'm saying? So we always got to keep that in mind as well. Through much tribulation shall we enter into the kingdom of Yahweh. So it's not going to be a cakewalk. It's not going to be easy. But it's for damn sure going to be worth it. You know what I'm saying? There's some guys that fell out. Well, I never would thought that they would have fell out. You know what I'm saying? They came in the truth before me. I looked up to them when they spoke. You know what I'm saying? They said very eye-opening things. you learn from certain brothers. Then when you see that when you come out to see that they did some bullshit, you know what I'm saying, or they was really niggas, it's like, damn. Your heart get numb to it after seeing it for so many times, but it's like, damn, another quote unquote good brother going. You know what I'm saying? But that's ultimately the Lord getting rid of him. I mean, you may see signs and shit, to be honest, but it's like, damn, like nonetheless, he was a cool brother. You know what I'm saying? But cool don't get you into the kingdom. That's another thing we gotta realize. Cool don't get you into the kingdom. Israel is cool. We a cool people. But just because you cool, that don't mean you gonna make it. You know what I'm saying? That don't mean you gonna make it. Just because you may be cool with brothers, that don't mean you cool with the Most High. You know what I mean? That don't mean you cool with the Most High. Let me, what's the next scripture? This is the book of 2nd Ezra, chapter 7. I'm going to start at the top. And when I had made an end of speaking these words, there was sent unto me an angel, which had been sent unto me the nights afore. And he said unto me, Up, Ezra, and hear the words that I am come to tell thee. And I said, Speak on, my power. Then said he unto me, The sea is set in a wide place, that it might be deep and great. That's a representation of the kingdom. But put the case, the entrance were narrow and like a river. That's the journey we got to go through in order to receive the kingdom. Who then could go into the sea to look upon it and rule it? If he not went through the narrow, how could he come into the broad? There's only one way in. There's only one way. You know what I'm saying? That's through the straight gate. Position of difficulty. You know what I'm saying? There is also another thing. A city is builded and set upon a broad field and is full of all good things. Let's talk about the kingdom once again. The entrance thereof is narrow and is set in a dangerous place to fall, like as if there were a fire on the right hand and on the left a deep water. You know what I'm saying? So that's the tribulations that we gotta go through. You know what I'm saying? While we obtain the kingdom. You know what I'm saying? We gotta stay on the straight and narrow. You know what I'm saying? That's a term. Stay on the straight and never fall off. You know what I'm saying? We got to stay within the confines of the scriptures, right? Because, hey, man, the world is dangerous, man. The world is dangerous. You know, the world is tempting. You know, it says, and one only path between them both, even between the fire and the water, so small that there could but one man go there at once. That's right, one after another. So this goes to show this isn't a team effort as far as you obtaining your salvation. Now, of course, we're a brotherhood. We help one another out, but one brother can't save you. The only person that can save you is Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushua. And you got to be of the elect. You know, but it's one at a time. That's how narrow this thing is. One brother got to go before the next brother. You can't go hand in hand. If this city now were given unto a man for an inheritance, if he never shall pass the danger set before it, how shall he receive the inheritance? So what? We got to earn the kingdom. We got to go through the danger. We got to experience the heat. We got to go through the fire in order to obtain the inheritance. When a fighter wants to get undisputed, you know, all the belts within his division, he know he going to have to go through fire for the most part. Because it's the best of the best with fighting one another, you know? And you're going to have to pull out a side of you that you may thought never existed. You know what I'm saying? Once you cross that final boss, you already know you in for something. And we're approaching that. Jacob's trouble, the hour of temptation. That's the true hour of temptation. You know? That's the test you don't want to fail. You may have failed some other tests prior to. Lord have mercy. But that's the test you don't want to fail, the hour of temptation. When they push that micro C-hip on you. The charagma, the MOTB. Verse 10, and I said, It is so, Lord. Then he said unto me, Even so also is Israel's portion. Because for their sakes I made the world, and when Adam transgressed my statutes, then was decreed that now was done. Then were the entrances of this world made narrow, full of sorrow and travail. They are but few, and evil, full of perils, very painful. So this started to happen because Adam and Eve went off. You know? Now we have to start to earn our keep after that. Everything was given to us. After that moment, that's when we became gods, knowing both good and evil. For the interests of the elder world were wide and short and brought immortal fruit. If then they that live labor not to enter into these straight and vain things, they can never receive those that are laid up for them. That's right. We got to go through hardships to receive what's laid up for us. It's already there. We just got to work and go through the process to get it. Prophecies have to be fulfilled. Now, therefore, why disquietest thou thyself, seeing thou art but a corruptible man? And why art thou moved, whereas thou art but mortal? Why hast thou not considered in thy mind this thing that is to come, rather than that which is present? Then answered I and said, O Lord, that bearest rule, thou hast ordained in thy law that the righteous should inherit these things, but that the ungodly should perish. That's right. 2/3 ain't going to make it. Simple. 2/3 ain't going to make it. Nevertheless, the righteous shall suffer straight things in hope for wide. For they that have done wickedly have suffered the straight things, and yet shall not see the wide. That's right. So we're going to go through the same thing that 2/3 are going to go through as far as Jacob's trouble, as far as the hour of temptation. The difference between us and them, we're going to overcome it pursuing to what? Revelation 3 and 10. I'm going to read that. Pursuing to Revelation 3 and 10, we're going to overcome it. And 2/3 are going to be taken by it because they didn't take the necessary steps to acquire the kingdom. Revelation 3 and 10, because thou hast kept the word of my patience, I also will keep thee from the hour of temptation, which shall come upon all the world to try them that dwell upon the earth. So the Lord is going to keep us from the hour of temptation because we kept the word of his patience. You know what I'm saying? It's a spiritual thing. So you just can't sit there and say, oh, no, I'm not going to take it. You are going to take it. The Lord's going to make you take it because you didn't do what he said present day. You didn't do what he said present day. You know what I'm saying? So therefore, we have the hope for elect. You know, the Lord's going to showcase his mercy because we strive to the best of our abilities. We strive to the best of our abilities. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, that's all I got. You know, through much tribulation shall we enter into the kingdom. That's something that we got to keep in mind because the scriptures speak upon counting the cost to see if we got enough to finish it. You always want to count the cost, man. And counting the cost comes with getting demonized, getting betrayed, going through Jacob's trouble, and going through the hour of temptation. That's all a part of counting the cost. And if you feel like through the spirit that you're built up for it and that you can achieve the kingdom, the Lord's going to keep that fire within inside of you. So with that, I'd like to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh Bashem Yahushai, Bashem Kakodash. I'd like to give double honors to the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone who do well. Peace, salutation, and blessings to the elect. Shalom.